Discover solutions to issues that affect your family and professional life with practical information to help you get past life's adversities. Take a proactive approach to power up your life with Rosalie's expert resources.
Over 2.5 million students make up Florida public schools. According to the National Retail Federation, parents of children in kindergarten through 12th grade will spend an estimated $688.62 for back-to-school shopping. That's up $85 over last year. Sending your kids back to school is a multiple-choice quiz for deciding the best supplies to help your students succeed. Just in time for this new school year is Emmy Award-winning tech lifestyle editor Jennifer Jolly. Good morning, Jennifer.
Thank you for having me.
So what are the biggest back-to-school shopping trends this year?
One of the biggest back-to-school shopping trends this year is online shopping. 2 of every 5 people are doing that digital dash to the store to really save money and find the best deals and try to really get everything their child wants and needs without breaking the bank. We're expected to spend some $83 billion on back-to-school shopping this year, $700 per young student, about $1,000 for college kids.
How do parents find the best deals for their kids online?
There is an online shopping portal that exists just to find really great deals for you. It's called Shop Discover, and the way it works is you save 5 to 20% cash back on all kinds of things from over 200 stores like Sears, Lenovo, DSW, Kohl's.
What new trends are sparking creativity?
Scotch has come out with all these really unique, vibrant colors and patterns, and kids everywhere are using these to really personalize things. So they're making book covers out of them. They're doing things like making headbands and bracelets. They're making phone covers, tablet covers, using them all over their backpacks.
And how about technology as learning tools? Do students need an iPad? Because they're very expensive.
If you have several $100s to spare, by all means, iPads can be great, and tablets in general can be great tools for learning. But no child needs one. What you need is a $79 Amazon Kindle. That gives you an entire library's worth of loaner books right in the palm of your hand. You're set up with all your school books, your textbooks, your loaner books, everything that you need, anytime, anywhere.
Where can we find more tips?
You can find all this on tipsontv.com or follow my columns at tekka.com. We have hundreds of back-to-school tips and tricks right there.
Thanks, Jennifer. Part of the cost of sending your child to school each day is providing a nutritious lunch and educating them to select healthy choices at school. Florida provides food assistance programs for low-income families. School breakfast and lunch programs meet federal dietary guidelines and nutrition standards. According to Agricultural Department data, 2.6 million subsidized lunches are offered to Florida public school students. Here to help guide families who need a lunchbox makeover and ensure a nutritious lunch at school is Leah Guy, host of Who's on Deck and National Health Nutrition Advocate. Good morning, Leah.
Good morning, how are you?
How do we turn around bad eating habits at school?
You know, we are in an epidemic for obesity right now, for both adults and children. Unfortunately, school lunches and vending machines are part of the problem. So parents really have to take control. And one of the things they can do is involve the kids into the process of making lunches. Teach them that healthy food can really taste good and introduce some healthy options. Let them choose what they want for lunch. Even go so far as let them make their own lunch.
How can we ensure our kids eat a nutritious, exciting lunch at school?
You know, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I say stick with what works, but add variety, because that's the thing. The kids want to be excited when they open up their lunchbox. So take Juicy Juice, for example. Kids have been loving their 100% juice for years, but research is showing that more parents are diluting the juice at home to reduce the sugar intake. So Juicy Juice has a new line. It's called Fruitifuls, and it comes in 4 new flavors. It's 35% less sugar. So you can feel great about giving it to your child. They're going to love the flavor, and it's a full serving of juice in every single box.
Can you show us some tricks to get kids interested in eating a healthy lunch?
Make sure that your lunchbox is trade-proof. We don't want them going into the can or into somebody else's hand. So you can't go wrong with a snack pack. Think of what your favorite was when you were a child. For me, it was chocolate pudding. And Snack Pack, they also have a new line of flavors. It's bakery-inspired flavors like chocolate cupcake, apple pie a la mode. I mean, who in the right mind would want to trade these flavors? One thing that you can do is really get creative with your lunchbox. We made some fancy sandwiches. They're so easy to make. They just look really fun and fancy. Your kids will love them. But you know, take your kid with you to shopping. Don't skip the deli counter at the grocery store. It's an educational experience, it's fun, and there you'll find lean and fresh and delicious Jenny O Deli Fresh Turkey. It's 98% fat-free, it's high in protein, and it's great to make these sandwiches. We made a caterpillar here with a basic turkey sandwich. And again, change up the flavors, use your favorite standbys, just mix it up a little bit, and your kids will really, really enjoy going to school each day and opening up their lunch.
So where can we go to get more tips on preparing healthy lunches?
Well, you can find all of these tips and more on tipsontv.com. So go there and check out some of our recipes and some of the new ideas and flavors. And I just hope everybody has a great school year.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the prevalence of autism is 1 in every 88 births in the U.S. One in 54 boys, or 1 in every 252 girls diagnosed with autism. But scientific advancements continue to provide researchers with new insights into the spectrum of autism disorders. Dr. David Posey is here to shed some light on autism and provide tips for families who have a child with this disorder. Thank you for joining us this morning, Dr. Posey.
Good morning, Rosalie.
Dr. Posey, please explain and define autism spectrum disorders.
Autism spectrum disorders are now thought of as a group of disorders. You might know of autistic disorder or autism. People have probably heard of Asperger's disorder. There's another very common one called pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified. And those are the 3 most common of the disorders. They actually have more similarities than differences, but the thing that really holds them all together is problems with social interaction. So these kids might have relatively intact cognitive functioning or even language in the case of Asperger's, but then can't always use it appropriately in social situations.
As a mother of a son with autism, there is an element of isolation even when they're out of school, and it's difficult for them to make friends and socialize.
That is one of the biggest problems that you'll see in both Asperger's and autism and PDD-NOS. So the CDC just this year published a report and found the prevalence to be 1 in every 88 children, with boys being affected much more commonly than girls at a ratio of about 4 to 1.
So why do you think boys are being more affected?
That's a good question, and so researchers have looked at different influences. In some ways, people have looked at some male traits, particularly systematizing things versus empathizing, and found that those male traits maybe have a factor. So in some ways, boys may be more prone to autism because in some ways they have some more vulnerability.
What research is being done into autism spectrum disorders?
One trial that I'm talking about today is the Connect Me clinical research program in autism. And this is an exciting trial because it's looking at an investigational drug specifically for problems with social interaction and communication. And right now there's no medicines that are FDA approved to treat autism. So when families present in my office, they might be getting very intensive therapies, speech therapies, behavioral therapies, yet are still having some problems with social interaction and communication. So it would really be great to offer a safe medication or drug that could improve outcome and these core symptoms.
What other target ages your research is focused on?
Looking for children ages 6 to 12 who have diagnoses of autism, Asperger's disorder, or pervasive developmental disorder not otherwise specified. And they have a website which is connectmetrial.com. Really only through clinical research and studying drugs in autism are we going to be able to find something that might affect these core symptoms.
Thank you, Dr. Posey.
Thank you.
Mom, can we get some ice cream? Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Discover why federal employees want to know what the public really feels when we return. With a troubling economy, it's a good time to look at the role of federal workers. An estimated 84,000 Floridians are federal employees. A new survey dispels a number of myths. Here to address these findings is Colleen Kelley, National President of the National Treasury Employees Union. Good morning, Colleen.
Good morning, Rosalie.
So tell us, why was the survey conducted and what were some of the key findings of the survey?
NTEU worked with Ipsos Public Affairs to conduct this survey because we thought it was important that the voice of the American public be there, the facts be there to weigh in on these budget decisions. While there is so much conversation right now about the budget cuts, making across-the-board cuts in the federal budget, we thought it was important to see what the American public thinks should happen in this situation. So we worked with Ipsos, and the survey was designed to ask the public how they view the federal workforce, the federal services that they receive from the federal government, and whether they think that there should be more money invested in those or less. And that was the purpose of the survey, to really get the public's opinion about these things.
What are some myths about federal workers?
There's quite a long list. I'll give you a couple. One myth is that there are more federal employees today than there have ever been in our modern era, and that could not be further from the truth. In 1953, there was one federal employee for every 78 residents. In 2009, there was one federal employee for every 147 residents. So almost half when you look at a per capita ratio. And another myth is that most federal employees work in Washington, D.C. Now, only 15% of federal employees are in Washington, D.C. The overwhelming majority are out there in the cities and towns across our country, including right there in Florida. You have tens of thousands of federal employees providing vital services to the public in Florida every day in a variety of agencies. You have the IRS down there who is providing tax services and assistance to individuals and small business owners every day. You have Customs and Border Protection, who are protecting our borders as well as our passenger and cargo coming in and out of the ports of Florida. Miami, Orlando, Key West, all of them. You have the FDIC, who is down there working with banks to ensure their safety for the investor. So, so that's another one of those big myths about federal employees.
Do federal employees make more money if they work in D.C. versus the state of Florida?
Well, that would be a myth too. You know, the salaries of the federal government are based on the skills and the experience and the education that these workers have and that the American public needs. The federal workforce is a very highly educated workforce. Fewer than 10% of federal employees are in clerical positions. The overwhelming majority are in positions such as scientists and doctors and attorneys and accountants and law enforcement and IT professionals. One of the things this survey also asked was what the American public thought about who the federal government should be hiring, and overwhelming numbers said that the federal government should hire the best qualified. And of course, in order to hire the best qualified, you need to have a fair compensation package. And I believe that's what the federal government provides to federal employees. I would add to that, while it is a fair compensation package, that one of the things the survey did show is that only 40% of the respondents realize that federal employees have been under a 2-year pay freeze as part of these budget discussions and decisions that have been made. So you have to factor that into this whole compensation discussion also.
Surprisingly, your survey found more agreement among Democrats, Republicans, and independents than might have been expected. So what was their response?
This was a cross-cutting survey, and regardless of Democratic, Republican, Independent, the overwhelming majority agreed on the vital services that are provided, that the government should invest more, not less, into these services that are provided to the American public and that the public depends on. And in fact, there was an overwhelming majority, 2/3, agreed that Congress should be raising taxes on the wealthiest Americans before they're cutting funding for these vital public services. Because, of course, in these budget discussions, that's one of the things that often does not get addressed, is the need to balance these discussions, that it cannot just be about cut, cut, cut. It has to be also about looking at revenue. And from that end, the federal employees with this pay freeze that they've been under have already contributed over $60 billion to that whole deficit and budget discussion. And no other group has been looked to for that kind of money. NTU has a public service campaign that we put in place over a year ago. It is called www.theyworkforus. They Work For Us is US. They work for the United States. And here you will find all the information about the survey and the results from the American public, as well as myths about federal employees and the accurate information about federal employees. We are determined to make sure that this information is out there and to conduct this education campaign to make sure that the facts are out there before decisions are made that not only adversely affect federal employees, but that adversely affect the American public, because that's who will suffer if these services are cut.
This is one amazing truffula tree. Can you imagine a place where these grow everywhere? Yes, it's called the forest, a magical place to enjoy with your family.
Ooh.
So discover the forest and explore all the wonder that's there. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Everyone feels they're working harder and could use a little break to energize and indulge in something to make us look and feel better, as well as de-stress. Lifestyle expert Merilee Kern is here to show us a few ways to indulge and why we shouldn't feel guilty about rewarding ourselves. Good morning, Merilee.
Hi, Rosalie.
We work harder and longer days. Then we come home and we care for our family, and we could use a little time out for that last-minute summer indulgence that won't break the bank, right?
I couldn't agree more. Every once in a while, you definitely need to splurge, do something nice for yourself, even when you're on a budget. And this time of year, especially in Florida, we're all still wearing flip-flops. So one simple, inexpensive idea is just to get a basic pedicure, and to keep costs even lower, gals can even paint their own nails. Women, it's no secret, we all like to look fresh and young. In fact, Americans spend $80 billion a year on anti-aging products, but there's no need to spend a ton of money to look youthful. There's some really great new solutions on the market. One of my favorites is the Avon Anew Genetics Treatment Concentrate with Youth Gen technology.
How can we afford to indulge in a little something really special, but still stay on budget?
Sometimes want a little pricier item, maybe a designer handbag or jeans. So my favorite way to get some of those for a little bit less is to shop using my iPhone or iPad using the free eBay mobile app. It's a great way to find those brand new, hard to find items from anywhere at any time without breaking the bank. And 80% of the items sold on eBay are brand new, ready to buy without bidding, which I love.
I think we could all use a last-minute getaway to de-stress, but most of us don't even have the time to plan one.
There's many great deals to be had. It takes a little bit of planning, and Expedia has some great tools to help with that. They have a top 10 deals tool. You can just plug in your city, whatever your destination is, and the tool will list the top 10 destinations in that, top 10 hotel deals in that area. You can learn more about all of this at videopump.tv.
Did you know Florida International University has the Institute for Family Business, which fosters the survival, growth, and economic sustainability of family-owned and managed companies right here in Florida? And did you know that high-profile couples make it work even if they're separated by thousands of miles every day? Juliana and Bill Rancic are a Hollywood couple who makes a cross-country marriage look easy while working together in business and logging millions of miles between the two of them. It's no wonder the entrepreneurial couples knows a thing or two about travel. Bill joins us this morning to share some of the travel tips and relationship that he and his wife have learned. Bill, couples are working longer hours and commuting more, which can add stress to a relationship. So how do they bridge that gap?
Yeah, you know, it's very important to be efficient with your time and with your travel. And one thing that I always tell people, I've logged millions of miles in, I've learned all the tricks of the trade, is that you've got to expect the unexpected. You know, things are going to go wrong when you're traveling, and I think you can minimize that drama by just planning for it. And part of that process is being efficient with what you pack. I've taught my wife after 7 years to carry a carry-on, because if a flight gets canceled or a flight gets delayed, you want to be agile enough to be able to pop over to another airline or to get to a rental car. And if you check that bag, you're at their mercy. So you want to take control of your destiny when traveling. I think that's very important, very critical. Secondly, when you're on the road, if you're traveling for business or pleasure, make sure you're reaping all the rewards that come with it. Make sure you're getting all those frequent flyer miles, because they add up. You can use them for free trips. We're launching the City Hilton Honors Reserve Card, and I get great benefits with that. I get free upgrades, free weekend stays. I don't pay international transaction fees. So make sure you're being as efficient as you can with that. And lastly, when you're booking your flights, make sure that you aren't penny wise and pound foolish. I talk to so many people, and they save $20 or $15 by doing a layover somewhere, and they lose all that valuable time. And when you have that layover, your odds of getting delayed or canceled double. So you want to minimize the cities that you have to transfer planes in. And if you can go direct, if it's a couple dollars more, trust me, it is money well spent. It's time that you'll be either at your meeting or enjoying your vacation and not running the risk of being delayed or canceled at another airport.
So how can couples successfully combine their talents and grow their business and relationship?
We not only live together, we're not only married, but we're business partners. And it's something that has really brought us closer together. Now, not every couple can pull it off. You've got to be willing to take criticism well. You've got to be willing to compromise well. And certainly you have to have a lot of patience, because oftentimes it's impossible not to bring work home when you're partners on all these different projects.
Couples that work together can have fun as well, right?
We love it. I wouldn't want it any other way. You know, my wife and I just finished filming the NBC show Ready for Love, and you know, we filmed it all summer together, and we had a heck of a time. You know, in the beginning it was a little turbulent. We were kind of feeling our way in the dark with each other because we'd never really hosted a network program together, but it turned out to be one of the best experiences of our lives.
So what tips do you have for couples that have a very limited time together each week?
Make a must-do list. You know, you've got to put your priorities in order, and if it's just shutting the phones off and getting rid of the computers and the laptops and the iPads and having a spouse come to the city you're in and just having that time, that is critical as well. It's amazing what having 2 days with no interruptions can do. You know, you put the cell phones away, you go hiking, mountain biking, whatever it is that you and your spouse like to do, you just do that, and you make sure that you have that bonding time, and it strengthens your relationship.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
Whether we're running out the door to get the kids prepared for a successful day in school or addressing our kids' medical issues, we all need to feel gratified with the work we do each day and carve out some quality time to re-energize our lives with those we love. Share your success stories with us on Facebook or visit us at RosalieArcherShow.com. See you next week. Will the solutions to this show's issues help you or a loved one? Find shows like this and others on our website at RosalieArcherShow.com.